To his friends, John McCullough was a warm, decent man, an heroic figure in the union-building trade movement. He brought Local 30 from virtually nothing to a 1,500-member local. The union-building trade movement. He brought Local 30 from virtually nothing to a 1,500-member local that now has one of the highest pay scales on the Delaware Valley labor scene. The friends say he spent as much time with charity as he did with the union. He was a supporter and fundraiser for Ed Rendell as well as Frank Rizzo. Local 30's lawyer Bernard Katz had lunch with McCullough on Monday.
I can state categorically in no way, shape, or form is there any relationship of any fiber of what was his existence to organized crime.
Another 20-year friend met with McCullough and Mayor Green yesterday at City Hall.
I can't begin to even think of anybody in the world that would want to hurt that man, because there was nothing but good in him.
But during his 2 decades as boss of Local 30 of the Roofers Union, there were frequent allegations by law enforcement units and various managements that McCullough's rank and file used violence and intimidation to organize workers and to fight for contracts. The best-known example was the June 1972 riot at the Valley Forge construction site of a Sheraton hotel being built by non-union contractors, the Altimos Construction Company. 1,000 pickets reportedly rioted at the site, destroying $400,000 in equipment and materials. At other times, there were unexplained dynamite blasts and assaults. Last June, 11 Local 30 members finally went to jail in connection with those riots. McCullough was never charged in that case. McCullough had led the rough-and-tumble Roofers Union since 1959. He was widely considered a symbol of their sometimes violent nature. And while many people considered him a wonderful person, he met the same kind of violent end as did many of his associates, including Angelo Bruno. Vernon Odom, Channel 6 Action News in Winfield Heights.
Here's one man.
If they know, they're not saying, at least for now, while Local 30 Roofers Union President John McCullough was marked for death. It was here inside his home at 2005 Foster Street in northeast Philadelphia shortly after 6 o'clock last night when a lone gunman posing as a flower delivery man gunned down the union official. McCullough's Cadillac remains in the driveway where he left it. Wife Audrey, who was in the house when her husband was shot 6 times by the gunman after he delivered 3 poinsettia plants, was not there today. Only a Philadelphia policeman stood guard. It's a quiet street, and neighbors were either not at home or declined to open doors to discuss the murder. Down the block, a Philadelphia policeman who was on sick leave had just returned to his home after the murder. I asked him whether his wife or children heard anything.
No, nothing other than the commotion after it happened, and we had gas men working on the house here. They were in and out all day, so it was kind of tough for us to hear anything with them banging and everything.
This is the van police say the gunman used. It was rented from a New Jersey leasing corporation on December 11th and was supposed to be returned the next day. It was dusted for fingerprints. The van was found here on the Jefferson Ward parking lot at the intersection of Roosevelt Boulevard and Red Lion Road. According to police, the keys were in the ignition lock, and also 2 poinsettia leaves were found inside the van. Union officials say they are at a loss to explain the murder. There is some speculation McCullough was killed over organizing control of the lucrative trade unions in Atlantic City. There is 2 distinctive sides to the late John McCullough. He was combative, tough, and shaped up Roofers Local 30 from an ineffective union to one that got a lot of respect among labor councils and one that was equally feared. He was also variously described as a compassionate man, a man with a heart of gold, who would raise funds for charities at the drop of a hat. Everybody loved him, they said, except one. Hank Sperger, Channel 6 Action News at Roofers Local 30 headquarters in northeast Philadelphia.
This is convicted hitman Willard Moran in 1982 during the trial process that led to his conviction in the 1980 murder of former Roofers Union leader John McCullough. As the district attorney's star witness in the murder conspiracy case against mob figures Raymond Martorano and Albert Daidone, Moran has entered the federal witness protection program, and the government wants no pictures and further prohibits clear courtroom sketches, even though it was clear to this reporter today that Moran's facial appearance has not yet been altered. The jury heard only 15 minutes of testimony today. It was interrupted several times by lengthy maneuvering by defense attorneys who don't want the jury to know that Moran and the co-defendants have had a past association that included other criminal allegations, including drug pushing and extortion. Moran did get to describe the deal he has cut to avoid the electric chair. Full, accurate cooperation with prosecutors, and he'll get a life sentence. Anything else, and Moran will return to death row. Assistant District Attorney Barbara Christie did get Moran to say he was a friend of the defendants, and they eventually became his bosses. As for the past criminal allegations, Judge Paul Ribner will analyze the issue over the weekend. The prosecutors say Daidone and Martorano put out the contract on McCullough because of union rivalries in Atlantic City. When the trial resumes on Monday, Willard Moran will be back on the stand. Second day on the stand is the District Attorney's star witness in the McCullough murder, Willard Moran, the man already of shooting and killing former Roofers Union boss John McCullough in 1980, described how he met and went into drug pushing with alleged mob figures Raymond Martorano and Albert Daidone, the men he now accuses of ordering and paying for the McCullough murder. Moran has cut a deal with the government, a life sentence in exchange for his testimony. We are not allowed to show sketches of Moran's face. Moran described a fall 1980 breakfast meeting in a Cherry Hill restaurant where Daidone pointed out a man he would eventually know as John McCullough. "I want you to remember his face," Moran quotes Daidone as saying. Moments later, a mistrial was almost declared by Judge Paul Ribner. Moran said he asked Daidone if former Bartenders Union leader Ed McBride was the target of a contract killing that Moran sensed was coming. He quoted Daidone as saying, "No, not Eddie." Raymond, referring to co-defendant Martorano, and the little guy, Nicky Scarfo. Moran was cut off by defense attorney Emmett Fitzpatrick, who moved for a mistrial, claiming the mention of other reputed mob figures not directly involved in this murder case was a way of inflaming the jury. Judge Ribner agreed. He chastised the assistant district attorney, but denied the mistrial request. The proceedings were recessed for the day. Moran will be on the stand again tomorrow to begin his version of the actual McCullough murder plot.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.